All right, all right, all right. Getting ready here to start the second game of the day. We're going to run through the list here for the Cherry Bombs wearing white jerseys. We've got number 12, Teen Wolf, number 13, Barbecue, 17, Sugar Crush, 255, Giblets, 27, Avalanche, 28, Snowplow, 379, Zombie Brains, 41, Ruby Gloom, 52, Firecracker, 77, Bunny Rabbit, and 913, Braceface.
And the Renegades in red, number 1, Skatey Bell, 106, Mad Hatter, number 11, Blueberry Slam Cakes, number 13, Slave Voorhees, 143, Zigzag, number 17, Guinea Pig, number 19, Stitches, number 2, Force Quad Freya, number 4, Pipsqueak, number 5, Sharkfin, 5-8, Yoda, 6-8, Foxtail, 700 Siren, number 87 Shredder, and number 97 Faz.
And our officials for this game are Data, You Know I Know You Know, or You Know I Know You Know, Bonnie, Roller Ray, Van Roll On, Saren Gasp, Buckin Novi, Prince Albert, Romp, Dr. Boom, D, Rex, Romp, Hyperlinks, Mr. Nitro, Dino, and Nitro G.
All right, Rolling Whistle gets this thing going. It is your Cherry Bombs in white against your Renegades in red. Faz in red for the Renegades, starting off first against number 12, Teen Wolf. These are both two very good jammers to watch, so great way to start off this game. Faz to the outside, crushes through a defender, but hot on the heels is Teen Wolf. Back block on Teen Wolf, sends them to the box. Faz smashes into the tripod. Tough jammer to get off their feet. They crush through the Cherry Bomb line for 4 points as we start with a power jam right at the beginning. And no, there is a penalty that sends Faz. I believe that was a high block call on Faz, sending them to the penalty box. Teen Wolf back out. So our first jam going the full 2 minutes. Teen Wolf through their initial, now on their scoring run. Slides right between two defenders for 4. Faz back out on the track. Faz with this apex jump does not land it. Teen Wolf trying to smash through a tripod, gives some lateral movement, and also draws a multiplayer call on one of the Renegade defenders. 8-8 jams so far. Both of these jammers going all the way for it. 2 defenders left for the Renegades. Faz quickly gets through all 4 of the Cherry Bombs. 12-12 jam now. These, like I said, both these jammers very good. Very evenly matched. Teen Wolf trying to split the defenders. Draws another multiplayer on the Renegades. All the way through for 4. Faz now getting held up just past the jam line. And that ends the jam as we run out of time, and there's going to be an official review call from the Cherry Bombs at the end of that. That may affect the score as we go into the second jam. Right now, as it stands on our scoreboard, it is 20-15 Cherry Bombs up by 5. Oh, yeah, have some time here, I'd like to thank our sponsors, the Pie Pizzeria, a longtime sponsor of Salt Lake Roller Derby and the Wasatch Junior Roller Derby. They have been voted Utah's best pizza by providing top quality handmade pizza, subs, salads, and more for over 40 years. Also, we'd like to thank 187 Killer Pads, another sponsor of ours, the Derby Warehouse, and Dick's Sporting Goods, who recently, with a generous donation to Wasatch Junior Roller Derby through their Dick's Sports Matters grant, have funded our juniors with a very generous donation, I might add. So thank you, Dick's Sporting Goods.
And a big thank you to you fans, parents, and players for coming out, spending a couple days with us here for some action-packed roller derby. But fans make the game go round, so thank you for coming out.
Of course, our volunteers making the Great Salt Quake happen, especially our medic staff and our track maintenance staff, keeping everything safe for these players as they go all out for 2 days of derby.
All right, we've got our verdict from the official review. The Cherry Bombs will not retain the review. They were looking for a cut track call on the Renegades, and that was not accepted by the officials. So they've used their official review, and we'll be back to the action right now. Looks like we've got Stitches up jamming for Renegades, and Avalanche is up for Cherry Bombs. And off they go, smashing into the wall of defenders. Avalanche is trying to push through, but it looks like Stitches is your lead jammer here for the Renegades. And coming around for that first scoring pass. It looks like Avalanche has made it through the pack now, while Stitches gets 4 quick points there. And they're going to come around and see what else they can make happen, smashing into the wall of defenders and crashes through for another 4 points. Round they go. And the Renegades defense putting up a tough wall for Avalanche to get through and knocked Avalanche out of bounds. They're going to recycle that jammer way back to the top of the track. Meanwhile, Stitches making it look easy, just slipping through the pack to get points. Now Avalanche is through. They're coming around to get some more scoring action. We got Stitches barreling over the pivot for Renegades, or for the Cherry Bombs. And we've got one player headed to the penalty box, it looks like, for Renegades. And Stitches hops over some feet and gets through the pack again for some more points. Meanwhile, Avalanche gets recycled back and back and back. They keep bridging back to recycle. And Stitches through again. We're looking at 24 points so far for Stitches on this jam. And it's not over yet, folks. We've got 2 Renegades putting up a tough defense there for Avalanche to get through. Stitches weaves through the last defenders and pulls around for another successful scoring pass. That's the full 2-minute jams. 28 big points for the Renegades and 8 for the Cherry Bombs. We're off to a good start here this morning.
A lot of points scored early in this game. It could be promising to be a very high-scoring game at the end of this. We have Braceface in white for the Cherry Bombs going against Yoda in red for the Renegades. Renegades with some penalty trouble, only 2 defenders out there right now. Yoda smashing their way through for a lead. Braceface being held up by Foxtail and Siren. Then now Braceface goes through just as Yoda slams into the pack on a scoring run. Trying to fight their way for points is Yoda. And they do for 4 just as Braceface enters into the pack. Trying to get their hips by those defenders to get those points. Penalty box is clear now. Yoda on another scoring run. We have a directional call on one of the cherry bombs. That'll be their pivot, sending them to the box. That's Bunny Rabbit, number 77. Yoda on a bit of a run here right now, fighting for those points hard in the middle of a cherry bomb tripod. Braceface getting some points of their own though around turn number 2, and then that jam is called off by Yoda. 3 points put up by the cherry bombs to the 9 put up by the Renegades.
Looks like we've got Teen Wolf up at the jam line for cherry bombs, going against Faz for the Renegades. And both teams' defense are right up on the block, the jam line. Put the pressure on early on here. And both jammers knocked out by defenders. Quick to get back on the track. And it looks like Faz has the lead jam position. And now Teen Wolf has made it through the pack also, so both jammers are on scoring runs. A little hop over the defenders there. Faz clears the successful scoring run. Teen Wolf is spinning around past those defenders, made it through again. We got it flying over the apex Faz, but didn't quite make it, so they gotta slow down and go back to get recycled, and Faz calls off the jam before Cherry Bomb's gonna get too many more points.
Right back into it is Avalanche with the cherry bombs. Seems fielding their players out for jam number 5. Looks like we have a power start for the cherry bombs. Avalanche smashing right into the teeth of a tripod, pushing, not quite able to make it through. However, does draw a penalty on the play. One of the Renegades defenders will be going to the box. Renegade blockers having some penalty trouble early in this game. Avalanche with 1 to beat and does for lead. Direction call on Foxtail the Renegades, sends them to the box. Avalanche takes a hit, stays in, keeps going. Meanwhile, Faz is out of the box and through. Now both jammers on another scoring run. Faz slams into the tripod, busts their way through, just as Avalanche makes it through for 4 as well. Approaching the pack at turn number 3 is Faz. Quick move to the outside, gets them out for 4. Now Avalanche 1 to beat, only 1 defender out there for the Renegades. Number 19, Stitches. Doing a good job with some solo blocking, but not able to contain Avalanche. And that jam is called off. And we end with a 12-12 jam on that one. So Renegades up 72-51.
We've got Siren queued up to jam for the Renegades, going up against Braceface for Cherry Bombs. And here they go. A little side-to-side action there, and Siren made it through. So Siren's your lead jammer for the Renegades. Meanwhile, Braceface is getting held up behind that wall of Renegades, trying to get through. Siren got knocked out in the middle of the track there and has to come back. Nope, looks like we've got Siren headed to the penalty box there for a forearm penalty. So that leaves the Cherry Bombs with the only jammer in play at the moment. So that's going to be Braceface. And Braceface is trying to get through those blockers. We do have a star pass. And it looks like it's going to be Barbecue if they get the cap on their head. And we have Siren back in play for the Renegades, wasting no time, slipping through all of those defenders on a coming right back around the pack. So Barbecue is going to have to play a little catch up here. Siren, meanwhile, slips through the inside of the track for a quick scoring pass. Now Barbecue with flying over the corner of the apex gets some more points. And huge smile on their face. Well deserved. Siren slips past again. We got some quick laps here. It's like endurance laps of practice. Both jammers are just whipping by. Barbecue knocked out of bounds and pops right back in. Meanwhile, Siren slips past the back door of those Cherry Bombs defenders for another scoring pass. Looks like we got a forearm penalty being assessed to one of the Cherry Bombs blockers. So that is the end of that jam. So it looks like Cherry Bombs are going to be starting off down one blocker.
Yeah, 2 minutes of intense derby there. There's a lot to see, a lot to watch, a lot to call. Man. And now we have Mad Hatter, a new jammer out there for the Renegades. They're going up against Teen Wolf. Got 3-on-3 with blockers. Everyone's starting right up at that jam line. Teen Wolf trying to do some offense on Mad Hatter. Now busts through the line, trying to laterally move. Then it is Teen Wolf through for the lead. Now Mad Hatter steps on through out of the pack. Blueberry Slam Cakes draws back Teen Wolf. Hard collision down there, but Mad Hatter's back up on their feet, smashing right into a deep tripod of the Cherry Bombs. Now a whole lot of bodies at turn number 1 hitting the ground. Blueberry Slam Cakes definitely doing a good job doing some blocking and keeping Teen Wolf from getting through the pack, but eventually does find their way through. Does Teen Wolf. They are our lead jammer. And we have ourselves a star pass. It is Blueberry Slam Cakes with that star now for the Renegades. Through for 4 more is Teen Wolf. Blueberry Slam Cakes slamming through 4 points. Teen Wolf now tries to step fast on turn number 2, but doesn't quite get it. Does draw a penalty, though. Another Renegade will go to the box. Meanwhile, now neck and neck, the jammers. Teen Wolf is our lead jammer. Blueberry Slam Cakes, they've been able to keep up, though, so we have ourselves a 12-12 jam. That helps the Renegade keep their lead of 29 points, rather 12-8. 4 of those points were not assessed to the Renegades. No, they are now put back on board. So it is 107-71. Renegades in the lead. We are closing in on the halfway point of our first half.
Big scoring jams right at the beginning. It's going to make for a very exciting game. We got Avalanche jamming for the Cherry Bombs up against Slay Voorhees. And it looks like the Renegades have lead jam position, but they can't get too comfortable because here comes Avalanche right behind. Quick footwork there for Slay Voorhees to get through. And those defenders for Renegades put a slow down on the Avalanche, so they've got some track to make up here. While Slay Voorhees is successfully pushed through a wall of Cherry Bombs for another 4 points. We've got Avalanche made it through now. Both jammers working around those bodies. Impressive backwards action there for Slay Voorhees. And here comes Avalanche up against the Renegades defenders. just throwing their body into it and pushing. Meanwhile, Slave Voorhees slips through unnoticed on the inside, and they're going to call the end to that jam. Big points, 16 points for the Renegades in that last jam and 12 for the Cherry Bombs.
Yeah, high scoring and very fast paces this game so far. Yoda back out there for the Renegades against Braceface. Braceface on the outside, Yoda on the inside. Now both have tripods to deal with. Trying to fight for that lead jammer advantage. Braceface, just cut off on the outside before getting through the pack. But swings through the middle, one more to beat, two more to beat. Is Braceface at turn number one. And they do it. Is Braceface, our lead jammer. Yoda being pushed out by Teen Wolf. And now Yoda makes their way through. Interesting, a lot of these jammers are also spending a lot of time doing his blockers. We have ourselves a back block against a Renegade defender, that is Siren, going to the box. Braceface on through for four, and we have ourselves a star pass for the Renegades. That makes Stitches your new jammer. Braceface calls that one off. And the final score looks like we have a 4-4 jam at the end of that.
And we got our fresh lineup of skaters for the next jam. Looks like Faz is going to be the jammer for Renegades. And we've got an official timeout called.
All these players are working really hard for all these points, and I want to make sure everything's counted for, to favor this hard work that they've been putting forth here. So we have our official timeouts to make sure everything is accounted for, all the scores, all the penalties, everything is as it should be in this tournament play.
Folks, remember, both these teams played yesterday, and I think they're both going to play again today. Impressive amount of athleticism to be able to come out and play this intense after a big full day of tournament yesterday. Righty, and they are off now. Back to your regularly scheduled derby. Both jammers hit the deck but bounce right back up. Looks like Faz is going to the penalty box. Meanwhile, Avalanche is able to skip around the last defender from the Renegades, so Avalanche is going to be the lead jammer. They are coming around bottom of the track here and approaching the pack. Let's see what happens. The pack starts moving. And Avalanche slams up against those defenders, squeezing past, and some fancy footwork there to get past. Renegades didn't give that one up easily. And so Avalanche successfully made a scoring pass. Now Faz is back in the action, slamming through a defender and finding their way to the ground as well. And it looks like we got a back block assessed to Faz, so back to the penalty box for them. Avalanche doing a little bit of toe spinning there, stay on their feet, and made it through again for another 4 points, closing that lead. And as Avalanche approaches the pack, these defenders are going to brace for the impact. And Avalanche decides to go right through the middle of them and dodge around the outside. And Avalanche says, that's enough of that, calls it off.
Yeah, that will give a power start advantage to the Cherry Bombs. See who they bring out as jammer. And it is Teen Wolf. Number 12 of the Cherry Bombs. Good jammer to have for a power start. Had some great games yesterday, and it looks like they want to repeat that success today. Fighting for it, but no, Faz is back out on the track for the Renegades. I believe got lead on that as well, coming off the bench. Yeah, it is Faz, is your lead jammer. They have a lot of speed and a lot of agility. They complete the apex jump and call that one off after scoring 4 points and keeping the Cherry Bombs scoreless.
That's some impressive coordination to be able to land an apex jump on 1 foot and call off the jam without eating it. That's crazy. That blows my mind. It's like we've got Giblets up jamming now for the Cherry Bombs, going against Siren for the Renegades. And the defenders come right up, start the pressure early, but Siren gets through on the inside of the track. Siren's your lead jammer. Giblets back up on their feet, just muscling through, and there they go. They got it through. Both jammers on a scoring pass. Siren is trying to weave in and out of those defenders, and it looks like we got a power jam as Siren goes to the penalty box. 30 seconds to think about life while Giblets pushes through and gets some more points. And it looks like we've got Cherry Bomb Pivot headed to the penalty box as well. So the pack is moving. Giblets is coming in, smashing through defenders. Went down on their feet, but now they're back up. And they're going to try to push through, taking down a defender with them. But Renegades are not giving up. Put up hard defense. Giblets finally squoze through. Now Siren's back on the track and quickly shoved out by the Cherry Bombs defenders. So Siren has made it through on a successful scoring pass. Giblets has made it through. And we're going to see what happens. This one's going to go the full 2 minutes because there is no lead jammer when they've both been to the box. So time to squeeze out the last 30 seconds of energy. Giblets is just crashing through people like they don't exist. Siren tries to spin around the apex and gets nudged out by Cherry Bombs. So they're back in it now. And there they go. Siren made it through the inside of the track for 4 more points. Giblets is pulling up to the back of the pack now for another scoring pass. And leans into those defenders to try to push their way through. Meanwhile, Siren is stuck behind a wall of Cherry Bombs. That's the end of 2 minutes.
A big enthusiastic cheer for Giblets, and the Renegades will call a team timeout. Yeah, already had a couple 2-minute jams here already in this game. This is a very quick game. Both teams already over 100, not even still got plenty of game left to go in this first half, just over 8 minutes left.
Double-digit scores for both jammers in that last one.
Giblets and Bunny Rabbit have also been helping us out here as scorekeepers. They were up here yesterday, and they'll be up here, looks like, the next game as well as scorekeepers. So on top of being a visiting team and playing their hearts out, a couple of, like 4 games over 2 days, they've also decided to help us out up here at the booth as well. So thank you very much, Giblets and Bunny Rabbit, for your support to help make this thing happen. Yeah.
Doing double duty.
Mad Hatter back out there, number 106 of the Renegades, up against Braceface in white. So some penalty trouble right now. Oh, Mad Hatter fakes out the 2 Cherry Bomb defenders. Excellent move by Mad Hatter to get that lead position. Raceface still stuck behind two very good tractor trailer defending Renegades. And meanwhile, Mad Hatter has put up 4 points and is coming around for some more. Going to the inside, slams into the tripod. Bodies go down, come right back up, and we're still right back into this. 4 more points for Mad Hatter. Raceface still trying to get through a tough thing and is able to successfully pass off that jammer helmet or jammer cover. That is Bunny Rabbit, who I just mentioned earlier, is now the jammer for the cherry bombs. That'll force a call off by Mad Hatter. They were able to get 2 more points. That brings their total to 10 on this jam.
So 146 to 117 is the score. And the way these jams have been going, that lead is not comfortable at all. Faz is up at the jam line for the Renegades, going up against the Avalanche for the Cherry Bombs. Looks like Faz is going to get a little running start here. And there's the whistle. They crash in. Faz breaks through into lead jammer position. Avalanche quick to pass the cap. So we've got a successful star pass. Barbecue is the new jammer for Cherry Bombs. Siren is coming right up to the pack, but now they're running into some difficulty. Those tough defenders. Looks like Faz is going to call it off.
Yeah, very quick jam, that one there. We're running into the last few minutes of our first half as Yoda has the star for the Renegades. That brings out Teen Wolf for the Cherry Bombs. Both teams getting their lines out for this next jam here. We are ready to go. Jammer on jammer action right at the beginning. Teen Wolf blocking Yoda from entering into the pack and able to sprint through. For lead is Teen Wolf. Cherry Bomb defender goes to the box. Teen Wolf in to score. Slave Voorhees with the helmet cover on as jammer for the Renegades now. He's now trying to put up some points for the Renegades and gets through. Cherry Bombs with some penalty trouble to their defenders in the box. That allows Slave Voorhees to step on through for 4 points. Teen Wolf having all 4 of the Renegades to try to get through. Number 13, that was Barbecue drawing back Slave Voorhees, so 13 against 13 there. Now Slave Voorhees able to get through, and yeah, another high-scoring jam here. We already have 12 points for Slay, 8 for Teen Wolf. Another multiplayer call sends another Renegade to the box. This one, again, going, looks like 30 seconds left in the jam. Teen Wolf is your leader. This may go the full 2 minutes. No, Teen Wolf calls that one off after scoring. See what our total is, a 16-16 jam. So yeah, more high scoring jams in our high scoring game here.
And it looks like we've got one Renegade blocker in the box, so it's going to be a slight advantage here to the Cherry Bombs at the beginning of this jam. Avalanche jamming for the Cherry Bombs, and Mad Hatter is up for the Renegades. There's the whistle. The defenders close in, and Avalanche has swept through and is the lead jammer. Mad Hatter's trying to get through that traffic jam and down to the last defender. Meanwhile, Avalanche is coming right back up. Time to score some points. And slamming into those defenders. Looks like they were able to slow the Avalanche a bit. Now, back and forth action, trying to get past. Not Renegades are not letting up at all and nudged that jammer out of bounds. Recycled back, back, back. And we've got a star pass for the Renegades. So Faz puts that cap right back on. And Faz is going to be your jammer. Avalanche says, no time for that. They call off the jam.
That was a beautifully executed star pass there, keeping the Cherry Bombs to 4 points at the end for that jam. Stitches out there for the Renegades, and Teen Wolf back out for the Cherry Bombs. Getting all 4 players out for each team of blockers out there. Got a full contingent of Cherry Bombs and Renegades as they're shoving their way, fighting for a lead. Around turn number 1, a lot happening. No, we have a track cut on Teen Wolf, so power jam advantage for the Renegades. We are coming down to our last 90 seconds of our half. May have room for one more jam here before our halftime. No, we have a forearm call on Stitches. That'll bring back out Teen Wolf and the Cherry Bombs. Now keep in mind, Stitches will only have to serve the same amount of time that Teen Wolf did in that penalty box. So probably not the full 30 seconds. Teen Wolf slams into the Renegades. Renegades not giving her much room to work with, but a quick spin move gets them through. And now Stitches is out, and there is no lead jammer, so this is going to go the full 2 minutes. That will bring us close to the end of the half. Unless someone uses a team timeout, this would be the last jam. And we have ourselves a star pass. That is now number 17 of the Renegades, Guinea Pig as the jammer. Teen Wolf down right back up on their feet. Forearm call on Teen Wolf, though, will send them to the box. So a power jam to perhaps end this half here. Right now, Guinea Pig fighting for some points, gets them. Right now, an 8-4 jam in favor of the Renegades. As Guinea Pig comes through again. Hard hit is down. That ends the time. That will likely end the half here. No, we do have a team timeout called. I believe there was still time on the clock before that was called off. Or before that timeout was called. So maybe 1 or 2 more seconds be put back on that clock, and we will get started here with one more jam in this half. Right now you have the Renegades up with a 31-point lead, 174 to 143.
Right, our skaters are taking the track for one last jam of the half. Yoda will be jamming for the Renegades. And looks like Teen Wolf is in the penalty land for the Cherry Bomb. So we got a power jam start for the Renegades. And off goes Yoda right into the Cherry Bomb defenders, putting up some great defense. And Yoda is unable to get through those defenders. And Teen Wolf is back on the track now. Teen Wolf is your lead jammer for the Cherry Bombs. We got Teen Wolf coming up here around the pack. Siren, looks like there was a star pass. Siren is your jammer for the Renegades. Successful apex jump there. And meanwhile, Teen Wolf just slips through the inside to get 4 more points. Siren is about quarter track behind. And we're going to see what happens. Teen Wolf is through. And looks like a forearm penalty assessed to Teen Wolf. So this is going to go the full 2 minutes of the jam. We've got 50 seconds left. Siren is taking a casual approach here while the defenders brace for impact. And then Siren turns on the speed, pushes past the pack, knocked down briefly by the Cherry Bomb defender. But they're back on their feet. And slips through the inside for 4 more points. So Siren's going to take us through to the end. And into the pack, around the pack, slip through the inside. Teen Wolf has arrived at the pack and is trying to dodge around those tricky defenders, Renegades. And Teen Wolf made it through. Siren hops past the leg, score more points. That's the end of the first half of play. Big scores this half. Sitting at 194 for the Renegades and 151 for the Cherry Bombs.
Yeah, Siren showing a lot of toughness there. Kind of hurt halfway through the jam and still able to keep going all the way to the end. So a lot of determination from these two teams here. So definitely looking forward to seeing what comes next in this second half of our game with the Renegades against the Cherry Bombs. Moments away from starting the second half of our game between the Renegades and the Cherry Bombs. Right now, the score is standing 194 to 151. The Renegades in the lead, but Cherry Bombs always threatening to take that away from them. So we got 30 minutes of action here where they will plan to do just that.
The other end.
Lines getting out on the track now. We are ready to go. Right back into the Derby action here. We have number 4 of the Renegades, a new jammer for them. That is Pipsqueak. They are going up against Avalanche of the Cherry Bombs. Both jammers drawn way back. Lead still open. Avalanche trying to barrel their way through to get that position. Pipsqueak's got a whole lot of Cherry Bomb to try to bust through as well. Teen Wolf knocks out Pipsqueak right before they could break free, so that lead is still open. Avalanche up at turn number 2, trying to get through the Renegade blockers. Trying to force them to bridge. Expanding that out. They are through. They do have lead. It is Avalanche with the lead for Cherry Bombs to start off this second half. Now we have a star pass. That goes to number 11, Blueberry Slam Cakes of the Renegades to become the new jammer. And as Avalanche goes to the penalty box, Blueberry Slam Cakes is our jammer with the power jam advantage. This is going to go the whole 2 minutes now. There is still 30 seconds left in this jam. There is time to score. Right now it is a 4-4 jam. Blueberry Slam Cakes brought down and brought back. They've gotten some points, but they're still have not been able to break free of the pack itself. Now they do 4 full points. Avalanche back on the track just as time runs out. And that is an 8-4 jam in favor of the Renegades to start off our second half.
So that jam pushes the Renegades up over 200. Still a lot of Derby left to play here. So we've got Bunny Ear Rabbit jamming for the Cherry Bombs. And Stitches is up for the Renegades. Defenders come right up to the line, start things off with some pressure, and Stitch finds a way through. Stitches is your lead jammer. So Stitches approaches the pack, and looks like we had a penalty on Bunny or Rabbit, so they are going to head to the penalty box. Got a little power jam advantage for Stitches and the Renegades. Stitches tries to tiptoe through the inside, doesn't quite make it, has to come back, try again. Found an opening on the outside, though. Stitches sweeps through for 4 points. And our defenders are anticipating, and looks like they're going to call this one off, so it's going to be a power start here at the next jam.
Yeah, good strategy there to freeze that jammer right in the box. It will give them a few seconds to try to establish lead. Renegades bring out Yoda as their jammer for this power start. Yoda swings to the outside, a big hole. Nice offense by the Renegades to get that lead position early in the jam. Bunny Rabbit back into the pack. Now a whole lot of pushing and shoving going on between these jammers. From the Cherry Bomb blockers going to the penalty box. Rabbit coming through now. Believe that was called off before any points are scored. That is correct. So 4 points for the Renegades before that jam ends.
We've got Pipsqueak going up against Braceface. Jam line. Cherry Bomb's defense is ready to roll right up in Pipsqueak's face. And here come the Renegades settling in also at the jam line. So the pressure's on right from the start. Pipsqueak squeaks through and is the lead jammer. Braceface trying to find a way through and shoved out by Blueberry Slam Cakes. Some intense defense from both teams. Pipsqueak's trying to get around those defenders. Got through again. And Renegades are on a run. Braceface is trapped behind these two dogged defenders. Won't let them through. Finally, Braceface made it through, so Braceface is now on a scoring run, or scoring pass. And there goes Pipsqueak. Through again. Looks like we've got a cut track penalty called on Pipsqueak, so they're headed to the box, and we've got power jam for 30 seconds. Let's see what the Cherry Bombs can do with that. Braceface is weaving back and forth trying to get past those defenders. They're putting up a hard fight, not letting an inch get through. Back to the inside, sweeping to the outside, looking for a way to get through. But the Renegades have put up a solid defense and keep pushing Braceface back. Now we've got the Cherry Bombs defenders coming in to provide some offensive support, try to get their jammer through, but no luck yet. Pipsqueak is back on the track and swiftly runs into a wall of Cherry Bomb defenders. Now it's both jammers trying to push against those defenders, but looks like Braceface made it through, and Drew, looks like we've got a multiplayer called down there in the traffic jam. And we've got a star pass right at the end of the jam.
A defensive battle there in that jam. A strong defense is shown by both teams. Avalanche back out for the Cherry Bomb. Stitches back out for the Renegades. Four 3 blocker advantage for the Renegades at the start. Jammer on jammer shoving action going on right at the line. As the Captain Foxtail of the Renegades goes to the penalty box for a forearm call, but not before Stitches gets that lead position. However, Avalanche is now coming up on for a scoring pass of their own. Stitches is through. Avalanche, couple of defenders to beat, looking for some offensive help, getting it, but very quick to regroup are the Renegades. Stitches now on another pass just as Avalanche makes their way through. And the penalty whistle looks like a direction call, sending another Renegade to the box, and that jam is called off. 8-5 jam there for the Renegades. So now I know last time we had a lot of high scoring jams. This time we have a lot of good defensive play with low scoring jams so far in our second half here.
So Yoda is up to the line, jamming for the Renegades, going up against Teen Wolf for Pipsqueaks. And right at the whistle, we've got jammer on jammer, shoving, trying to get a head start there. Wolf pushes, muscles through. Wolf's the lead jammer. Yoda's trying to find a way through. Can't get it. Got one Yoda against 4 Cherry Bombs. It's going to be tough to get through. Meanwhile, Teen Wolf weaves casually around, making it look easy. Another scoring pass, successful for Teen Wolf. And Renegades jammer has made it through. So here comes Yoda up to the back of the pack. And ref indicates a squeeze the pack together. Teen Wolf coming around to the back of the pack, but Yoda's picking up speed to close that gap. Teen Wolf smashes through two Renegade defenders while Yoda just slips past the whole pack in general. So they're going to keep running it looks like. We got 8 to 12 jams so far. Yoda right on Teen Wolf's heels. Both jammers are through. And it looks like Teen Wolf has drawn a penalty. So Teen Wolf's headed to the box for a quick half minute. That gives the Renegades a slight advantage. Power jam. Yoda's through. Yoda's coming up to the back of the pack. And takes a hard hit from the pivot, but stays up, right? Has to go back to back to the pack. Now they push through. There's Yoda through at the front. And the defenders are getting ready for another slam of offense. So both jammers approach the pack. Yoda smashes in, and time expires. That's the end of that jam. Another big scoring jam.
Ooh, yeah, right after I talk about how defensive it was and low scoring, now we have right immediately a 2017 jam. 19 minutes left in our game. Mad Hatter out there for the Renegades against Braceface and Cherry Bombs. Right back into the action here. Mad Hatter going to the inside, Braceface pushing on the out. Mad Hatter being held up by Giblets, being led into a nice tripod set up by the Cherry Bombs. Braceface, though, has a very, very difficult group of defenders that they have to try to get around. Nice sprint by the Mad Hatter, gets him through. Lead jammer. Braceface trying to look for it, but no, Faz blocks their exit, recycles them back. Mad Hatter now scoring some points for the Renegades. Still trying to find a way to get through that pack. Braceface sees daylight, runs through it, and is through past their initial. Mad Hatter also looking on the outside, gets through. Believe got all 4 points. Yes, they did before calling that off.
And we've got a quick swap of players. Stitches going up against Avalanche. Jammers, we've seen this duo before. And the defenders are getting into the action early. That's the whistle. Avalanche smashes into the Renegades wall, trying to get through the inside. They shove Avalanche out of bounds. Stitches having a tough time getting past those defenders also. And Avalanche spins around the defenders and takes lead jam position. But right on their heels is Stitches for the Renegades. And Avalanche decides to put an end to it, calls the jam off before either team can score any points.
Teen Wolf right back out there for the Cherry Bombs, going up against Siren of the Renegades. We have a team timeout by the Cherry Bombs. Give them 60 seconds to regroup. We have 16 minutes and 53 seconds left in this game. Man, this game is just blaze of action going on. It's going by very quickly. Very high scoring too right now, 253 to 185. I'd like to thank some of our sponsors of the Great Salt Quake, the Pie Pizzeria, who've been voted Utah's best pizza, providing top quality handmade pizza, subs, salads, and more for over 40 years. 187 Killer Pads and the Derby Warehouse, thank you very much for sponsoring the Juniors Roller Derby Tournament. And Dick's Sporting Goods, who have given a generous donation to the Wasatch Junior Roller Derby team through their Dick's Sports Matters grant. Thank you very much, Dick's Sporting Goods. Few seconds left in this timeout, and we'll be right back into the action. There's the rolling whistle. Siren out as jammer against Teen Wolf. Only 2 Renegade defenders out there right now. All 4 of the Cherry Bombs are on the track. We are off with Teen Wolf with 2 to beat, and does. Slams right on through your lead jammer. Meanwhile, Siren having a whole mess of bodies to try to get through. Teen Wolf on the scoring run. No, Siren is going to the box. Big power jam opportunity for the Cherry Bombs. 4 points already put up by Teen Wolf. Coming around for another scoring pass. Looking for a little bit of offense before trying to force the Renegades to bridge. Nice moves by Teen Wolf to stay in on that inside line. 8 points put up. Another run around for Teen Wolf. Now just as Siren gets back on the track and approaches. Siren is now through the pack. Meanwhile, Teen Wolf trying to put up a few more points, but they call that one off. I believe there was a penalty at the end of that, a forearm call. And that will be against one of the Cherry Bomb defenders, I believe. Or no, the Renegade defenders, rather. One of the Renegades will be going to the box. So 11 points put up by Teen Wolf before that one, before that jam ended.
We've got official timeout called. Take a minute here, make sure things get sorted out before we dive back into the action. And looks like things are squared away. So we're ready with Pipsqueak jamming for the Renegades. Brace face for the Cherry Bombs. There's still plenty of time left for things to happen and leads to change, so we're going to see what happens. Looks like the Renegades slipped through and have lead jam position. So Pipsqueak is in control of this jam. Coming up on the back of the pack now. And Pipsqueak Braceface finds a way through and is now on a scoring pass as well. Pipsqueak made it through for 4 points and is whipping around the curves to get back to get some more points there. And looks like Pipsqueak's going to end the jam before the Cherry Bombs can get the points on the board.
Back into the action. Stitches against Avalanche. Nope, looks like one Cherry Bomb starts in the box. All 4 Renegades out on the track. Stitches to the outside, Avalanche to the inside. Avalanche, now they reverse positions. And they are neck and neck, but I believe it is Stitches that got lead. Yes, it is Stitches, your lead jammer. Calls that off for a 0-0 jam.
We've got Yoda going up against Teen Wolf at the jam line. And it looks like the penalty box is empty, so we've got full 5-on-5 lineup here at the beginning of this jam. There's the whistle. Teen Wolf nudges into the Yoda and bounces off, trying to get the lead. Pushing and shoving. Can't quite get it there. Teen Wolf's made it through. Yoda's still stuck behind those defenders. Barbecue putting up some good defense. Make it really hard. You do have a star pass, so Blueberry Slam Cakes is going to be your Renegade jammer now. Teen Wolf slams up against the wall of Renegades. And they put the brakes on that run, trying to shove Teen Wolf out. Can't quite get them out. Got them out center of the track, though. Slam Cakes made it through, and it's going up. Nope, looks like Slam Cakes has been assessed a forearm penalty. So off to the box they go, and Team Wolf calls the jam off. So
there will be
power start here on this next jam.
Power start advantage. New jammer for the Cherry Bomb, Zombie Brains. All 4 Cherry Bomb defenders are out there against 3 Renegades, and also it has a power start. No, little jammer change as Avalanche now will take the star. Power start advantage. Oh, hard hit by Faz. I don't know if there's a penalty on that. Yes, there is a penalty on that. Faz goes to the box. And Avalanche is free. Lead jammer. Still some time to get some points. Only 2 Renegade defenders out on the floor right now. Getting some offensive help by Barbecue. Gets through for 4 points. Now, Blueberry Slam Cakes is the jammer for the Renegades is back out on the track. Meanwhile, Avalanche is now in for another scoring run, shoving their way through, successfully doing so for 4 more points. Direction call on Faz once again sends them to the box. Avalanche taken down, recycled back by Slave Voorhees. Looks like having another direction call. I believe that is on the Renegade pivot, just as Barbecue brings down Blueberry Slam Cakes and recycles them back. Avalanche having a nice run here as a jammer, 12 points, and calls that one off. Renegades will call a team timeout and give them 60 seconds to breathe and collect themselves. And we are almost at the 10-minute mark, 10 minutes, 34 seconds left in the game. Renegades with a nice lead, but not a lead that they can just be comfortable with by any means.
Yep. As many points as these jams have been getting, this could change very quickly. So they're going to have to put everything they've got into these last 10 minutes. Alrighty, that sound means the timeout is over. Back to playtime. We've got Bunny Rabbit jamming for Cherry Bombs, and Stitches is up for the Renegades. And off to a quick start. Bunny Rabbit gets knocked out and recycled back behind the jam line. We got a directional call against Renegades blockers, so they're headed to the penalty box, and it looks like Stitches is your lead jammer for the Renegades. Bunny Rabbit trying to get past those defenders, but having a heck of a time. Faz is putting up a good fight there. Bunny Rabbit's got it. On to a scoring pass now. Stitches has gotten held up in traffic and decides to end the jam.
Just like that, we are back into another jam. Jam number 15. Second half, teams talking some strategy. Jammers letting their defenders know what they want. Cherry Bombs are starting right up at the line. Up at the pivot line now are the Renegades, but they are moving back now. Brace face against Yoda. Both Jammers got a tripod to deal with. Brace face sees the inside. Yoda gets through the middle first, though. So now it is a race between these two. Yoda is the lead, calls it off. Their quick jam, 0-0 jam, but that still keeps the Renegades in a good lead.
Quick lineup change puts Avalanche back to the jam line. And it looks like Barbecue is up for Renegades jamming.
Slave Orkies.
Oh, I'm sorry, Slave Voorhees is jamming for the Renegades. Little nudge from both jammers there, and Avalanche is trying to push through those defenders. Slay sneaks through on the inside of the track, though. Slay's your lead jammer. Avalanche is through the pack now, too. About a quarter track separates these two jammers. Slave Voorhees coming in, spinning around the defenders. Successful 4 points. Oh, looks like we got a forearm penalty assessed, so Slave Voorhees is headed to the penalty box. No lead jammer at this point, so we're going to go the full time. Avalanche has shoved through and is racked up 4 points for the Renegades. And let's see what they can do with this power jam advantage. Pack starting to move, and Avalanche stops up short of the defender's wall and trying to brute force their way through those defenders. They're not having it, though. Renegades are putting up a heck of a fight, and Avalanche sneaks past the last defender. So they're on for scoring. Slave Voorhees is back in play, wasting no time. And quick penalty assessed to Slave Voorhees. Back to the penalty box for them. Avalanche bounces off a Renegade defender and leaning in, trying to push their way through, going inside to outside, shoved it out the outside. Looks like we've got a forearm penalty on a Renegades blocker. So they are down a couple players. Avalanche has made it through. And coming around to the end of the jam time. And here at the end, Slave Voorhees is back in play also. And we got penalty called right at the end of that jam. And we've got an official review called by the Renegades.
Looks like there was some penalties assessed at the end of that jam there. The official review may be about that. Try to get their team in a advantageous positions before we start our next jam here. 6 minutes, 36 seconds left. It's a 40-point game. That is well within the means of the Cherry Bombs to take away in the time remaining. Penalty trouble at the end of the game can definitely affect that score. So I'm sure the Renegades want to pull that together and make sure they maintain that lead. Cherry Bombs, I would definitely love to exploit that as much as possible. We'll get back to you with the results of the official review once we receive them. Right now we have time slotted. It was 1:30 for our next game. That due to our first game running long, I don't know if that will still be the case, if that will be pushed up or not. But that is going to be Wasatch Assault going up against the Dallas Derby Devils. Right now, again, that is slotted for 1:30. We will see if that remains to be true at the end of this game.
All right, we've got a verdict. The Renegades will not retain their official review. They were asking for a jammer penalty to be rescinded. The officials saw the that was not appropriate, so that is that. So we got Yoda blazing past 4 speed past the pack of defenders and quickly on to a scoring pass. And some help from those blockers nudging people out of the way. Yoda's on another scoring pass, moving quickly. Got to eat up as much track as possible before that Cherry Bomb's defender makes it out of the penalty box. Yoda's bouncing around like a pinball over there, knocked out of bounds. Oh, not quite. Looks like they clung to it. Yoda's through again. Avalanche is back on the track now, made it through the pack, and is on a scoring pass. So we're going to see what happens. Yoda's coming up to the back of the pack, slams in and knocks over a defender, pushing through to try to get some points. Yoda made it through. Avalanche hits the ground, back up on their feet. Yoda calls an end to the jam before Avalanche can get any more points. Looks like there was a penalty assessed there at the end of the jam, so we're going to have a power start here. Cherry Bombs down to Jammer.
Now that'll really help in these last. Yeah, power start opportunity really helped in these last few minutes as Stitches blows on through, gets that coveted lead jammer position. The Renegades definitely don't want to let up anything in these last under 5 minutes to go. They do have a comfortable lead right now, 4 points assessed in this jam. Looking for score some more. Gets a few more points, calls it off. That'll still freeze the jammer of the Cherry Bombs and allow another power start opportunity as Mad Hatter of the Renegades comes out with the star as the jammer for the Renegades.
All right, back at it. Mad Hatter's got a brief moment of respite with being the only jammer on the track, but Avalanche is back now, getting knocked out of bounds by Slam Cakes. Mad Hatter dodged around that last defender. Mad Hatter is your lead jammer here, and Avalanche is trying to sweep past those defenders. Nudged out of bounds there. Big hit at a great time by the Renegades team. Mad Hatter's on a run. Coming around the horn here. And Avalanche knocked to the ground by Faz. Big hit. Got Mad Hatter knocked to the ground, but back up. Avalanche taken down again. Putting up some tough defense here. Mad Hatter's had enough. Calls off the end of the jam. And a good solid 8 points for the Renegades on that jam.
Yeah, Renegades doing a good job controlling the clock here in these final minutes, scoring some points, doing some quick call-offs, and we got 30 seconds to burn in between jams. So great use to try to take control of that clock and keep that score climbing in their favor. Yoda out there for the Renegades up against Braceface. Braceface to the outside. Yoda moving laterally back and forth. Neither one finding much daylight. Tough defenses out there. Zombie Brains with a good hit to knock back Yoda a little bit, but Yoda recovers and is through. Braceface with cover in hand, looking for some help. Yoda now on a scoring pass. Couple collisions around turn number 1. Everyone's back up on their feet. Yoda trying to beat Teen Wolf. Cherry Bomb defense regrouping very well. They call that one off. Once again, getting a few points, calling it off, controlling that clock, controlling that scoreboard. Good strategy by the Renegades.
Yep, getting that lead jam position is really powerful because you have control over the clock, the tempo, everything. Looks like we've got Zombie Brains up jamming for the Cherry Bombs. New fresh face at the jam cap. and Stitches, an old face in the jam cap. There they go. Stitches goes to the outside, and quickly out in front is Lee Jammer. Zombie Brains is crashing around those Renegade defenders. Looks like they made it through. Zombie Brains, taken down by one final defender there. So Stitches swings through. It's on another scoring pass. Zombie Brains recycled back and looking for help now. We've got a star pass. Bunny Rabbit is going to be the new jammer for the Cherry Bombs. And Stitches is on another 4 points. Pass there. Bunny Rabbit smashes up against those defenders and is headed to the penalty box. So it looks like Stitches is going to be alone there. It's the only jammer for a bit. And we're going to see what happens. Zipped around the outside. Stitches made that look way too easy for the end of a game. Full, intense game. So here comes Stitches. We got short time left on the clock, and Stitches is going to end that jam.
Yeah, less than 30 seconds on the play clock. That'll force the Cherry Bombs to use their last team timeout to stop that clock with 23 seconds left. Still an official review on the board for the Cherry Bombs. One more team timeout for the Renegades. I don't think they'll want to use that, though. I'm sure at this point it'll work in their favor for that clock to run down. Once again, at 1:30, we will be having Wasatch Assault, our hosts of the Great Salt Quake, going up against the Dallas Derby Devils. Again, that is at 1:30, right after this game. Slave Warriors is out there in red for the Renegades as their jammer. And it is Bunny Rabbit, I still believe, is the jammer, sitting on the penalty box for the Cherry Bombs. And we will be back into gameplay momentarily. Here we are with possibly the last jam of the game. Slave Voorhees to the inside, getting blocked by Barbecue. Forearm call on 1-7 of the Renegades, but that lead jam does go to the Renegades, and they control the clock as the final 10 seconds of playtime tick on down. They score 4 more points, and no, there is a penalty, forearm. So this game will continue 90 more seconds. Cut track on Bunny Rabbit, so that is going to free Slave Voorhees to go back out on the track. So this is going to go the full 2 minutes. That'll allow the Renegades to put up some more points and will allow the Cherry Bombs to perhaps have that scoreboard a little more in their favor. Every point counts in these tournaments here. Nice apex jump around turn number 2 for Slay. Bunny Rabbit makes it through the pack. Slay charging in. And no, was knocked out right on the outside. Rabbit in for some score and some points. But no, it is Slay for 4 more. That puts 12. 40 seconds left on the clock. Bunny Rabbit still trying to find their way through. And I believe interesting. I believe there was still time on the clock, but the whistle was blown. We'll see how that pans out here. But right now, our unofficial score is 322 to 228. We'll see if that, at the rolling whistle, see if that becomes our official score. There it is. That's the rolling whistle. Our official score, 322 to 228. The Renegades take this one from the Cherry Bombs. And it was a very high-scoring game, as we kind of saw it was going that way, even at the very beginning of this one.
Yep. Make some noise for these teams. Both of them fought hard. And I believe both these teams still have another game later today.
All right, give a good round of applause to these teams that worked very hard. They still, once again, the Renegades have another game at 3:30, and the Cherry Bombs will have one more game at 5:30 later today. So these two teams still have more to go. Hey, stay tuned for our next game, which is going to be Wasatch Assault versus the Dallas Derby Devils. I don't know if Lulu's going to be here or not.
Sounds like we're going to have a 40-minute break here before the next game starts. So hydrate, eat something, do what you got to do, but you don't want to miss this next game because it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I see some merch tables are open too, so definitely want to collect some merch for the Great Salt Quake here. This is definitely something, definitely a tournament to remember. So be sure to visit the merch tables and support these teams as they are playing their hearts out, and that's what keeps funding these teams is what keeps these tournaments going. So thank you for coming out and supporting Juniors Roller Derby.